we are again. This is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor. I'm glad that you've joined me this morning. You realize we only have just a few more hours, and this election thing is going to be semi-done. Then we have to go into 2024. But at least this 2022 election is just about done, and we can stop listening to all the lies and all of the rhetoric and all of the hate and everything else that goes along with a political campaign. Now, a lot of you have probably already voted. I've already voted. I know what my choices have been. I knew what my choices were going to be from the very beginning, based upon my own personal experience. And my personal experience is, and I'll tell it to you. I'll be honest with you. We've had a time period of our life that we never thought we were going to live, where our businesses were shut down. Kids were kicked out of school. Their education levels are way behind now because people decided to shut America down. And we should never have done that. So that's back in my mind of who made those decisions. Why were they made? Because now we're learning a lot of different things that happened during that period of time that we probably should have known at that time. So that's in the back of my mind. What I experienced, my business almost failed. I had to eat up all of the majority of my savings. And now we are faced with another crisis, and that is the economic crisis. To buy gasoline, it's like investing into a college education that's so expensive. Food prices are way out of control, so that when I want to eat, I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat and what will last the longest, how I can use it. I'm not buying anything at the stores anymore because I can't afford it. So I'm looking at my own economical picture, and I can tell you that when I go to the gas pump, I feel pain. When I buy food, I feel pain. And I know that these feelings are from bad policy making individuals. And then I listened to Representative Claiborne of South Carolina, where he said, yeah, we knew that by overspending it was going to cause inflation. So he's admitted it. He knew what was going to happen. He knew that if the Democrats passed all these bills on spending, that it was going to do something to the economy. But he did it anyway. So that's in the back of my mind. And I look at the stories that I hear from people every single day, trying to survive, trying to get to that next day, trying to make a decision. Do I buy this, or do I provide lunch for my children at school? Do I buy lunch for myself? No, I can't do it because I got to buy food for my child. So these kind of decisions are having to be made by all these families out there, including myself. I have not bought anything special for myself because I can't afford it. You see, I'm in private practice. So when clients don't come to me, I don't get paid. So I'm always having to work, trying to bring in more. But at the moment, my clients are poor too, so they can't afford me. It's the biggest problem that we're facing as small businesses. And now we see that Joe Biden wants to make it so that private people like me, in private practice, are getting W-2s. We're working for somebody else. We no longer can work for ourselves. Happened in California, and it was a disaster. People left the state. So we have these issues, and the American people are suffering. So I look back at my own personal financial situation, and I'm saying, okay, I know how I'm going to vote. I can't vote for the party that made all these decisions. I can't do that, because that means we'll have more and more of the same. Once a spender, always a spender, right? Always a cheater. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Once a liar, always a liar. And so when I cast my vote, when I sent my ballot in, all of that was in the back of my mind of how better off am I today. And I'm not better off. I'm in the worst situation. And as I think about that, it really pisses me off. And when I see families making these tough choices, it pisses me off. But the problem is, it doesn't piss politicians off. They don't care. They're getting their, $150,000 a year salary, plus their free health care, plus their free gym, plus their meals, plus their parties and everything else. They don't care how individuals like you and I are suffering. It's a tough situation when you see this. Now, listen, I might like some of those people out there. I might like some of those politicians. I think they're a hoot. But unfortunately, they made a decision to put this country in the situation it's in now. They made a decision to hurt me. I know it sounds selfish, right? You're only thinking of yourself, Michael. Yeah, at the moment, to survive, I have to think of myself. That's a problem with a lot of families out there. They have to think for themselves, too. You see, when politicians make bad decisions, it can affect you and I. It can affect our small business. It can affect our family. It can affect our retirement plans. It can affect a whole lot of things based on a bad vote that's coming out of Congress. Maybe that's a question you should be asking yourself, too. How better off are you today? Has anything changed in your life? And I think that we can probably all say, yeah, things have really changed. It's no longer the America we used to know. The America that we used to look forward to buying a house when we grew up. The America where we thought, oh, you know what, we can start our business and we can see how big it gets or how small it will stay. I mean, we had that decision-making process, but now the government wants to take that decision away from us. So we have all of these things that we have to look at. Then we have this woke culture that has tried to cancel all of us out who want to say something or who believe in a different way. But since they don't believe in how we believe, they feel that it's okay to hate. So we have all of these things going. We have all of these new political philosophies that it's okay to hate. It's okay not to produce anything here in America anymore. It's okay to buy oil from other countries even though that we can produce it ourselves. And then Biden says yesterday that there's not going to be any more drilling. So what does that do to the oil companies? Why would they even want to invest in oil wells or the production of oil wells or the refining of oil? But the president says, we're going to get rid of all of it. We're going to go to windmills, solar panels. So we have, I'm not going to say we, I'm going to say I have had to make a decision that says I don't see a path forward with this current political regime that's in unless I change it with my vote. So that's a great part of this great thing called democracy that political parties talk about all the time, but they never put into practice. But the one thing that we do have left, and that is our vote. That is a part of this democracy, that we can go to the polls and we can vote for the individuals that we like. Now, I know a lot of you have already made up your decision, which is good. That means you're confident in the way that you're voting. You've made up your mind. You've cast your vote. Same with me. Me too. I knew exactly how I was going to vote. But there are a lot of you who have not gone to the polls yet. But I have a sneaking suspicion you know who you're going to vote for and how you're going to vote. What referendums you're going to vote for or against. You've already made up that decision. But then there are a few of you who are on the edge. Should I or shouldn't I? Ask the question, can you go and buy a gallon of gas without it not hurting you financially? Can you go buy food without you making some tough choices because you just can't afford it any longer? Can you buy that lunch for your child? Can you travel anywhere freely and cost effective? So all those questions that you ask yourself, how am I better off today? Am I better off today? How are my wages going compared to inflation? So we've gone to inflation and now we're into a recession. And there are going to be job layoffs. So you have to ask yourself, what is going to happen to me if I get laid off? What is going to happen to me if my bank closes down because it's no longer solvent? Who's going to fight for me when these things happen? Who's going to fight for me when the electricity goes off because the grid can no longer support? How am I going to pay my electrical bill because diesel and gas prices and propane and everything else has gone skyrocket? Who's going to fight for me to make a change so that we have a way to live? So there's two questions, and the two questions are, how better off am I right now, and who's going to fight for me when things get tougher? Who's going to fight for me? Are they going to fight for a political party, or are they going to fight for what's right and good for America? That's what you're asking about when you cast your vote. I'm glad it's over. I'm done with it. We move forward. We fight onward. We support each American. We no longer are going to be this woke country where we're all against each other. Forget about that. Right now we need to pull together and get together and worship together and pray together and eat together and do great things together. Listen, this is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor. If you would like to have more access to me, you can go to my website, which is at www.lodge-co.com. Again, that's www.lodge-co.com. You know what? Let's listen to some jazz. Let's sit back, reflect on our voting and what we're going to do and what we hope to do going forward and how we're going to work together. Everyone, have a great day. God bless. Bye-bye.